The Teen Phantom Part 4. Come over here and look at this tree. Mello takes them into a group of large pines and shows them a tree. Does it look unlike the others? Not that I can tell, except it is much larger. It is not a tree, it just looks like one. It is a steel reinforced concrete column with bark fastened to the surface and imitation branches and needles. The cable comes out about 30 feet up. It is so neat, Nikki says. It is, Mello, my father likes doing this sort of thing. They come back out from among the trees and find two lift chairs. Just behind the lift chairs hang 4 hooks. The hooks will carry the bikes through the trees with a hook at each end of the frame. Then there are 2 hooks for their packs. They secure the bikes and packs on their hook. Then Mello turns to Charlotte. Your dog is not in any way aggressive. I am sorry, I see no reason to warn you. She is not as mild and passive as she looks. You raise your voice to me and you would hear a roar from her that would twist your nerves into knots. You pull a gun on me and she would have your wrist with the grip of a crocodile. You would drop the gun very quickly. You would most likely find yourself on the ground. You give too much resistance after I told you to lie still, and you did not respond to my warning. I do not even want to think what she would do next. It would be extremely gruesome. You may not have noticed that she did not take her eyes off you for a long while after you came out of the underbrush. The reason she did not growl at you, I told her not to before you got here. I told her you were a friend. She still was not comfortable with you for a while. She is relaxed now. She is satisfied that you are truly our friend. If you would like to pet her, she would feel good about it. Sneaky sits by Nikki. Her eyes are on Mello and Charlotte. Mello turns to look at Sneaky. Sneaky goes to Mello and puts the side of her head against his leg. Mello looks down at Sneaky, pets her, pats her neck, and says, "You are a great dog." Then Mello secures the girls' safety belts and cage. Sneaky sits between the girls. Mello secures himself in the other one facing the girls. On their way up, someone calls Mello on his cell phone. He just listens and says okay. The building is similar to the Spanish style. The parapet roof has many shrubs and vines growing out of it. The walls look to be stone, that is, what you see of it because of the vines. Charlotte is sure there are many curious thoughts running through Nikki's mind, as the site is familiar, but neither of them speaks of it. As they come through the doorway, bright indirect lighting comes on. There are no visible doors or windows in this room. It looks to be 40 by 60 feet, the doors close behind them. Maybe it should be viewed as the wall closed, as there is no indication there was ever a doorway there. Would you girls mind if I do not show you through the building this time? We could just go to the study and conference room and visit. That would be fine. It is whatever you think best, Charlotte says. The study and conference room is there off the lift landing, Mello informs them. They see no openings in the wall between the lift landing and the rest of the building. It puzzles Charlotte a bit. What are your shoe sizes? Mello asks as he reaches toward the wall. 2 of the panels sink into the wall splits like elevator doors, leaving a keyboard with buttons and switches exposed. Nikki wears a 7 and I wear a 5. Mello pushes some buttons, and in a short time a little section of the wall at the base portion opens. It is in the same manner as the keyboard was exposed. A platform slips out with 3 pair of slippers is on it. They find them extremely comfortable. Mello, are there any openings in that back wall? Yes, there is one on each end of it. Would you fix it so Sneaky could open them to go outside? All I need to do is to program her into the system. She must press the button to activate it. Could she do that? That would not be a problem for her. They have walked over to the left end of the back wall. Have Sneaky sit in front of the red button on the wall for just 1 second. It will register her presence. That is all it takes. Sneaky has listened and watched them. When Mello gives the instruction to Charlotte, Sneaky goes to the red button and sits. That is long enough, Sneaky, you can go outside now. Sneaky presses the button with her paw, the wall opens. As she goes out, Charlotte says, "See you later, Sneaky." She makes a little muffled bark in answer to Charlotte. When Sneaky gets a couple of feet on the other side, the wall closes. Sneaky acts as if she is game to such life. Yes, where she lives it is set up like this, all underground except the south wall is glass. She even has her own special flush toilet. She has her water fountain that she can control. Do you know my great-grandfather? No, I didn't know you had one. He must know all about you. Perhaps he does, I am not aware of it. Mello walks back to where they left their hiking boots. He presses some buttons on his cell phone. A little panel opens that exposes a control panel with buttons and rocker switches. He punches several and the wall opens. Sneaky can come in where we will be visiting. As you can see, there is an exposed button now, to our right. She will not be back soon, she will scope the place out, Charlotte informs Mello. While they talk, they enter the big room and the wall closes. The big room is empty except for 10 large recliner chairs. Each attached to a large base about 4 feet across. Keyboards are on each side of them. They line up on the south wall. The setting gives Charlotte a strange feeling. When she glances over at Nikki, Nikki looks a little concerned. The chairs are like those in Charlotte's secret realms. This room appears to be about 80 feet square. The architecture of this room is similar to those in Charlotte's secret realms, also. The girls are speechless. They gaze at the snow-white plush finish on the walls and ceiling. It is all upholstery. It has beige carpet on the floor except a white circular piece that is about 12 feet across in the center of the room. Mello tells them how to operate the chairs. They end up a few inches from the white circular carpet. They all sit in a circle facing each other. They do not tell Mello they know how to operate the chairs. There is one other thing to tell you. The white carpet in front of you is the top of a spiral stairs. I will show you. Be prepared, as you will automatically move back 6 feet. They move back as the white carpet rises, forming the top of a cylinder of rods. That stairs now reaches from 3 stories below to the rooftop garden. Nikki says, "That is so neat, Mello." "It is indeed," Charlotte says, as she realizes it is like in her secret realms. She does not want to let Mello know at this time. Mello brings the stairway back down. "Are your parents here?" "My great-grandfather is here somewhere. Sometimes there are more of us here. My little sister, Agaupi, is here much of the time. She is not here now." "I must level with you, Charlotte. I have met your father. I spoke to your father about enrolling in your school. He could not promise me enrollment, and he said I should check with the little lady who engineered it all. I plan to be there Sunday. There will be an open house so I can check it all out." "Did he tell you the lady's name?" "No, and I didn't press him for it. I will meet her Sunday." "How old is your little sister, Mello?" "I am sorry, Charlotte, we try not to disclose our age if we can avoid it. At least we leave that disclosure to the persons themselves. I feel comfortable enough to let you know my age. I am 16 and 7 months. "Nikki, I notice you speak of your grandfather. I have not heard you speak of your father. I met your mother at church. I did not want to pry and still will not, but I am curious." Nikki realizes that she should be honest with Mello and let him know all about her family, so she begins feeling very comfortable. "Most Christians would call me a bastard, but I'm not. My father was Chinese. He was in a special task force in China dealing with terrorists. My mother was a member of a special peace mission. She became a very close friend of my father's family. My father and mother were spending most of their spare time together and were making plans for marriage. Mother's parents were very much against the marriage. Her parents' objection and some legal problem and red tape delayed the marriage. They loved each other very much. Then 3 weeks before an explosion killed my father, he tried to back out of the marriage. It was not for lack of love for my mother, but because he didn't think he would be living long. It was as an intuition or hunch. Grandfather believed it. He said it was not the first time for this to happen with other past family members. Mother begged my father to live with her as though they were married, and if it were true about his short future she wanted a child by him. He tried very seriously to talk her out of it. He was afraid it would bring her shame with her people. He would not refuse because he loved my mother very much, and he felt much honored that mother wanted a child by him. Grandfather promised to care for mother and me in case of my father's death. Grandfather says I am his son's spirit. You can understand why I love my mother so much. Nikki, it is only the very rude and unkind that would think you as a bastard. Your parents' marriage was more sincere than that of most Christians. All this Christian judgment makes me angry, Mello. I am with you, Charlotte. This world is full of that kind of ignorance, arrogance, and bigotry. They visit for at least a couple of hours before Charlotte suggests their need to leave. Mello, we need you in our school. Nikki doesn't know it yet, but I am planning on her enrolling. No one will be enrolled that is not analyzed for their spirit behavior. It is spirit discipline, facts, and truth mindset, and then they can be invited. Nikki speaks very enthusiastically. I would love to. Is the tuition very high? How much is it? I have not a clue. It doesn't matter. You will not be paying tuition. Mello will not be paying tuition either. Mello speaks up with a very resolute attitude. I do not want it free. I have sufficient finance to pay tuition. Nikki snaps back at Mello. How do you know? We don't even know what the tuition is. That is one thing that Charlotte's father told me. How much is the tuition then? Tentatively, it has been set at $1,000 a month. That includes food and clothes such as they provide, a nice room that you share with 3 other students. I think it is a great opportunity. The price is very reasonable and you can more than work out your tuition there at school if you so desire. That does not make any sense, Mello. Charlotte doesn't know what the tuition is and you know all about it. Nikki, you know how I hate to think about finance. Anyway, it is not going to cost you anything if the tuition is twice that much. Neither will it cost Mello. I do not care if he is a millionaire. It is plain to see that neither of you know your value. I am really asking you to help us build the greatest school in the world. When you said even if it cost twice that much, it made me think of the mistake they made with my check this month. It was double what it should have been. I planned to speak to you about it. I didn't remember to speak of it when we were together. There was no mistake. Tell no one what you are paid. You know I would not do a thing like that, but you are the most stubborn little girl in the whole world. There is no reason for me to dispute that. What people think of me does not carry a gram of weight with me. I am very aware of that. If not, I would be plain stupid. I am in a heap of trouble if it is not a mistake. Mother hints that I am in some illegal affair with my income as large as it was. I told her it was just a mistake. If I tell her it is my true salary, she may get nosy, and anyway it is too much for me to be paid. Evidently you have forgotten all the time you worked for almost nothing until we got things going well. That was truly a wise investment, my father, and I know your value, not you. Mother is not aware of how I earn my salary or what we do. She is a kind mother. She knows you are not a criminal. She promised to keep your income a secret. She did. Yes, don't let her know that you know, but my father took care of that several years ago. Oh, Nikki looks at Charlotte with a dazed faraway look. I should have known. You are a sneaky little brat. It appears my mother is as shady as you are. She certainly kept her promise to your father. She puts on a great act, and she really had me worried.